Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal 133 based on novel. So let's start. The cultivators of the Cultivation Union flew toward the soul refining tribe. Before them was an endless, black cloud. This cloud was too thick, forget sight, even their divine senses were immediately knocked away by it. In fact, if they were a bit careless, their divine senses would be devoured by the soul fragments inside. Sharp, ghostly wails that could shock the heart came from inside the black cloud. It was impossible to see what was inside due to the black cloud, and this huge, black cloud would stop most people in their track. The man in gold's expression sank when he saw this. He let out a cold snort and said, "Wang Lin's place only has this one layer of protection. Once we break through this, we can easily capture that child." There were several people beside him. All of them had gloomy expressions and were unable to say a word as they stared at the dark cloud. Sun Yunshan revealed a hint of mockery in his eyes. He learned a bit about this matter from his sister. Most of the small teams thought that this was an easy chance to earn merit, because the ancestor sent out a celestial guardian. All of them were fighting for this chance. The messenger who brought back news of Wang Lin's location did mention that the location was surrounded by a powerful cloud. However, the people fighting for this chance didn't pay too much attention to this. They still believed that nothing would be a problem with the celestial guardian here. Sun Yunshan looked around. Including himself, there were almost 20 people here. Most of them were at the early stage of soul transformation, and only a few of them were at the mid-stage of soul transformation. There was only one late-stage soul transformation cultivator. It was Uncle Feng, who remained silent the entire time. Sun Yunshan looked at the grey-haired old man not far away from him and only felt sadness. This was Marshal Uncle Feng. He was Sun Yunshan's father's junior apprentice brother, and he came here to protect Sun Yunshan. However, he could have never imagined his little sister would have secretly followed them here, and caused him to land himself in such a dire situation. The ancestor even wiped Marshal Uncle Feng's memory with a secret spell and turned him into a puppet. He had a celestial seed planted in him by the ancestor, so he no longer had control over his life and death. The man in gold shouted, "This black cloud is merely a bluff. Number 10, go break this black cloud for me." An early-stage soul transformation cultivator behind the man in gold had an ugly expression. He hesitated but didn't dare to disobey. He let out a sigh and respectfully said, "Subordinate obeys." This cultivator clenched his teeth and charged toward the black cloud. However, the closer he got, the pressure that could shake the origin soul became even stronger. There were also those ghostly wails that charged out like sound wave spells. This cultivator could no longer close in when he was 10,000 feet away from the black cloud. He felt that if he forced himself to continue, he would die for sure. When he saw the cultivator stop, the man in gold's face filled with hostility. He shouted in a cold tone, "Number 10, do you dare to disobey an order?" The cultivator's face became better after he heard this. He let out a sigh and thought, "Forget it. This life that barely resembles a human life should come to an end. If I can die here, I will be relieved from this torture." He let out deep breath as he took a step and charged forth like a meteor. In the blink of an eye, he entered within 10,000 feet of the black cloud, and just at this moment, the black cloud suddenly moved. The black cloud surged like raging waves and formed mushroom-like shapes as it continued to expand outward. The sharp wails became even stronger as they echoed across the sky. As the clouds churned, a series of heaven-shaking roars came from within. At the same time, the black cloud quickly turned into a large mouth that could devour the world. It devoured the cultivator without any hesitation, leaving nothing behind. Almost all of the cultivators of the Cultivation Union were shocked by this. Although they were very far, they felt like they were right next to the black cloud. Their clothes were instantly soaked with sweat. It was as if number 10 wasn't the only one devoured by the black cloud. The calm celestial guardian's eyes suddenly lit up as he carefully looked at the black cloud and revealed a puzzled expression. Team Captain, this black cloud." A man beside the man in gold was filled with fear. The man in gold's expression became even darker. He pointed at the old man not far away and said, "Number 3, you go." This white-haired old man was Sun Yunshan's martial uncle. His expression was filled with confusion. He didn't say a word as he stepped forth. Sun Yunshan clenched his fist. He then looked at his martial uncle Feng leaving and his heart bled. The old man arrived 10,000 feet away from the black cloud in just a few steps. Just as he was about to continue, the black cloud suddenly sped up and churned. In an instant, the black cloud split open, leaving a clear road in the middle. A cold-looking young man walked out step by step. He glanced at the old man before looking at the people of the Cultivation Union. Then he calmly said, "My ancestor welcomes everyone." The man in gold's expression suddenly changed and he shouted, "Number 3, kill him. We can enter using this path." The cold-looking young man was 13. His expression was neutral without any emotion. As for the old man, he rushed toward 13 in a flash. However, just as he was about to close in, a strand of black cloud suddenly rushed out. It surrounded the old man, pulling him back into the black cloud. The old man disappeared without a trace. This scene was like a hammer that struck hard on the hearts of the people of the Cultivation Union. This was especially true for Sun Yunshan as his eyes turned red. 13 extended his right hand and said, "This way." With that, he turned around and walked away. The man in gold's expression was filled with uncertainty. He subconsciously looked back at the man in black and his heart felt more calm. He sneered and said, "Let's go. I want to see what tricks this Wang Lin has up his sleeve." The group quickly flew forward and continued along the path opened up by the black cloud. As they entered, the path behind them was slowly closed by the black cloud. After a short period of flying, the man in gold suddenly stopped. His eyes were filled with shock and his expression became very ugly. The people behind him were all dumbfounded by what they saw before them. What appeared before them was a huge tribe that had a lot of people. At this moment, all of them raised their heads and looked at them with cold gazes. The gazes of these countless people gathered on the people of the Cultivation Union. Although their cultivation levels were high, they were still shocked. At the center of the tribe there was an open space 5 kilometers in radius. At the center lied a tall tower. A powerful sense of majesty spread out from the tower and surrounded the area. These people felt like they could barely breathe under this pressure. 13 stood outside the empty area and respectfully said, "Ancestor, I have brought the guests here." Fellow cultivators came filled with killing intent. "Could it be that I have offended you all?" Wang Lin's voice slowly came from the tower. Although his tone was modest, his voice seemed to contain devilish power behind it. His voice slowly diffused across the entire soul-refining tribe. Wang Lin gradually learned bits of the heavenly devil sound spell as he gradually strengthened the imprint on the scattered devil. At this moment, the spell was spread by sound. Everyone in the Cultivation Union, aside from the man in black, had the spell fill their minds. The man in black's cultivation level was rather high, so he didn't get lost within this sound. His eyes became very bright as he stared at the tower. His face revealed bewilderment and uncertainty once more. The man in gold's origin soul shook. His eyes involuntarily revealed a hint of confusion and he subconsciously said, "You didn't offend. If that is the case, you all are too presumptuous to still come looking for me for trouble." Wang Lin's voice was filled with his cold intent. At this moment, all of the members of the soul-refining tribe shouted, "Impudent." Everyone in the soul-refining tribe said that word at once, and the sound fused with the wailing from the black cloud. This was even louder than roaring thunder when it landed in the cultivators' ears. It was as if countless sharp swords had stabbed into their hearts. It caused their ears to buzz and their origin souls to shake. Blood came directly out of the mouths of a few that had low cultivation levels. It was clear that their insides were shaken and their origin souls were injured. This shout also cleared everyone's minds. The man in gold's expression changed greatly. He subconsciously backed up and his face filled with shock. If he was like this, then the surrounding cultivators were even worse off than him. Every one of them sucked in breaths of cold air. Their hearts were filled with shock and they realized that things were not good. As for Sun Yunshan, the excitement in his heart far outweighed the shock. He was secretly shouting in his heart, "It's him, It really is him. As the man in gold retreated, he screeched, "Celestial Guardian, attack." After he said that, the eyes of the man in black suddenly shined brightly. He stepped forth and arrived above the tower with one step. Then his right hand formed a seal and he slammed it down. This slam seemed to contain the power to pull up a mountain. A golden symbol appeared in the sky and charged toward the tower. A cold snort came from within the tower, then Wang Lin's figure came out. He didn't even look up as his hand released a black light and reached into the sky. He calmly said, "Come down for me." After his hand reached out, cracks suddenly appeared on the golden symbol. Following a series of crackling sounds, the golden symbol collapsed. The man in black's expression suddenly changed greatly, and for the first time, his face was filled with terror. He wanted to dodge, but his body was immediately caught by a power that could steal life force. He was ruthlessly pulled down from the sky. With a loud boom, the man in black's body smashed into the ground. When the man in black landed on the ground, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he swung his right hand. Countless restrictions immediately flew out and sealed all of the hidden meridians in the man in black. Then Wang Lin casually reached out and used the wind from the finger of death. With his cultivation, he could tell at a glance that there was something strange about the man in black's body. This person's origin soul had no origin energy at all and instead had a piece of jade the size of a fingernail. As a result, although this person had reached the ascendant stage, he didn't have the domain of an ascendant cultivator. In Wang Lin's eyes, this person was merely a brute. Forget the fact that Wang Lin had already reached the ascendant stage. Even before he broke through, he could have easily dealt with this person. However, to outsiders, Wang Lin's simple grasp was like lightning striking their brains. This caused the people of the cultivation union to become dumbfounded. The man in gold's body trembled and his face was completely pale. If it wasn't for the fact that the road behind him had been sealed, he would have quickly escaped at the first opportunity. As for the other cultivators, they were all staring dumbfoundedly at the middle-aged man that was caught and smashed into the ground by Wang Lin. After a long time, they still weren't able to say a word. Only Sun Yunshan felt like his excitement had reached its peak. He let out a big sigh of relief as if he wanted to release all the oppression he had suffered so far. The man in gold trembled and quickly said, Senior. Misunderstanding. This is all a misunderstanding. We are just here representing the Cultivation Alliance to invite you to join. Sun Yunshan sneered as he quickly moved more than 100 feet from the group and shouted, "Brother Wang, their purpose here was to capture you alive." Wang Lin had seen Sun Yunshan a long time ago. At this moment he merely nodded. The man in gold's expression became even more pale. Then his expression became even more vicious as he stared at Sun Yunshan and shouted, "Sun Yunshan, do you dare to betray the ancestor?" Sun Yunshan's body trembled and he was about to speak when Wang Lin waved his hand. A gentle breeze hit the man in gold and his body suddenly exploded. His origin soul flew out from his body filled with confusion. However, he was soon devoured by the black cloud in the sky. The smell of blood hadn't dissipated yet when all of the surrounding cultivators' eyes were filled with terror. He couldn't imagine that Wang Lin's cultivation would have reached such an unimaginable level. With one grasp, the Celestial Guardian was caught. With one wave of his hand, the man in gold exploded. Late stage ascendant. He must be at the late stage of ascendant. Wang Lin ignored those cultivators, but he looked at Sun Yunshan and smiled. "Brother Sun, we haven't met in many years." Sun Yuanshan let out a sigh and bitterly said, "Brother Wang, save me." Wang Lin's expression remained neutral and he smiled. "Come inside and talk." With that, he grabbed the man in black on the ground and walked into the tower. Sun Yunshan hesitated for a bit before he flew forward and quickly followed Wang Lin. Not only was his shock not smaller than the other cultivators, it was even more intense. He remembered that before entering the demon spirit land, Wang Lin's cultivation was only at the mid-stage of soul transformation. However, in a few short decades, Wang Lin had already reached the ascendant stage. Aside from shocking him greatly, it also caused Wang Lin's status in his mind to infinitely increase. Only those more than a dozen cultivators remained in the sky. None of them dared to leave or attack, so they could only float there. All of their hearts were filled with uncertainty, and each breath felt like a year. Inside the tower, Wang Lin sat down in the lotus position. He took out a simple round table from his bag of holding and a jar of fine wine. Then he poured a cup for Sun Yunshan and smiled. "Brother Sun, sit." Sun Yunshan stood stiffly on the side. After hesitating for a bit, he sat down opposite of Wang Lin and said, "Brother Wang, since you already came, there is no harm in asking me for help." Wang Lin smiled as he put down the wine jar and looked at Sun Yunshan. Sun Yunshan pondered for a short period of time before picking up the cup and drinking it all in one go. Then he grabbed the jar and drank directly from it. Only after he drank a majority of the jar did he put it back down. His eyes were bright as he looked at Wang Lin before taking a deep breath. He pointed at the man in black and said, "Brother Wang, this person has no name and is called a celestial guardian. We are from the same organization that calls itself the Cultivation Union." Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he slowly said, "Celestial Guardian." Sun Yunshan took another large gulp of wine, then his eyes turned slightly red and he said, "There is a person inside the Cultivation Union who calls himself the Celestial Realm Ancestor. This person's cultivation level is very high, and it was he who called them Celestial Guardians. In addition to this ancestor, he has about a total of 10 Celestial Guardians. There isn't much difference in their strength. The battle you had in the Sky Demon Country's ancient demon city with Demon General Mo Lihai caught the attention of the ancestor. For some unknown reason, he sent people to capture you. I believe you must have already met the people who tried to capture you in Sky Demon City. Then you went missing in Sky Demon City and this matter was dropped. However, a few months ago, someone somehow found out you were here. Thus, the ancestor sent us out to capture you alive once more." Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. He remembered that back in Sky Demon City, a group attacked him while he was listening to the zither music. The head of the group exploded when he was about to be captured. Wang Lin remembered this kind of madness in his heart. Back then he thought that those people were sent by another demon general. However, after listening to Sun Yunshan today, it seemed like there was someone else. Sun Yunshan clenched his fist and continued, "Brother Wang, you don't know that back then my sister used some unknown method and also came to this demon spirit land. She was bewitched by the ancestor and became a member of the Cultivation Union. After she met me, she tricked me into joining this organization. When I found out that something was wrong, I wanted to escape. However, the ancestor appeared, and with only one spell, he captured the 4 martial uncles that came with me. From that moment on, the 4 of them had their memories wiped and they became puppets. Even I had a celestial seed planted in my body, so now my life no longer in my control." Wang Lin's eyes released a golden glow and looked at Sun Yunshan's body. This gaze caused Sun Yunshan's origin soul to shake as if it was about to collapse. He had a feeling that everything about him, all of his secrets, were exposed before Wang Lin. This feeling only lasted for a moment before it disappeared. However, Sun Yunshan was covered in sweat and his gaze toward Wang Lin was filled with respect. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and pointed at Sun Yunshan's forehead, then strands of green lines suddenly appeared on Sun Yunshan's forehead. There were a lot of these green lines, and soon they covered Sun Yunshan's entire body. Wang Lin let out a soft exclaim and his eyes became serious. He carefully looked at the green lines and then closed his eyes to ponder. Sun Yunshan felt very nervous in his heart. If this celestial seed couldn't be removed, then he would forever be under the ancestor's control and never be free. After a long time, Wang Lin opened his eyes and slowly said, "The ancestor called this restriction the celestial seed?" Sun Yunshan quickly nodded and said, "That is correct. The ancestor once said that this was something he got from the celestial realm before it collapsed and that it is an object of the celestial realm and no one besides him can break it." Wang Lin's eyes revealed a mysterious light as he looked at the man in black and thought, "This man in black is called a celestial guardian. This restriction is called celestial seed, and this ancestor claims he came from the celestial realm. Could it be Celestial Emperor Qin Ling? Although this possibility is very low, that restriction is indeed not simple. It contains boundless celestial spiritual energy, so it should be something from the celestial realm." Wang Lin pondered a bit before reaching into the void, Then the celestial guardian flew into his hand. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with indifference as he placed his hand on this person's head. Then Wang Lin activated the soul search spell. If this man in black was a real ascendant cultivator, Wang Lin would not have been so bold as to soul search someone at the same cultivation level as him. However, this person's body didn't have any origin energy. In truth, this person's ascendant cultivation was given to him by the broken jade in his origin soul. His true cultivation was merely at the mid-stage of soul transformation. As he searched his soul, Wang Lin's expression gradually became more gloomy. This person's memory was very short. It only contained memories of after he became a celestial guardian. As for the memories before, that was a complete blank. Wang Lin released his right hand, and with one slap, his origin soul was pushed out. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he spat out a mouthful of origin flame. He then began to refine the origin soul right in front of Sun Yunshan. Sun Yunshan looked at this, and while his heart was filled with shock, it was filled even more with awe and fear. While Wang Lin refined the origin soul, his gaze swept past Sun Yunshan. He naturally had his reasons for doing all this. The origin soul of this ancestor was indeed strange, so Wang Lin naturally couldn't believe everything Sun Yunshan had said. He still had to do the necessary preparations, like shocking Sun Yunshan and keeping his guard up. The celestial guardian's origin soul was quickly refined. The fingernail-sized broken jade sparkled as it floated before Wang Lin. He stared at the broken jade and began to ponder. Although this jade gave off no celestial spiritual energy, when Wang Lin scanned it, he found that it contained an unimaginable amount of celestial spiritual energy. However, this celestial spiritual energy couldn't be absorbed, as it seemed there was a strand of intent inside it. The fusion of a cultivator's origin soul and this broken jade can create something similar to an early-stage ascendant cultivator. However, I believe that the success rate of this kind of fusion is very low, or else that ancestor wouldn't only have 10 celestial guardians. Also, this fusion can't be as simple as simply merging with the broken jade. The key must be the intent within this broken jade. Only by fusing with the intent can the fusion be complete. Ideas quickly flashed through Wang Lin's mind. If the ancestor of the cultivation union knew what Wang Lin was thinking, he would definitely be shocked. It has to be said that he spent a lot of time to figure this out. However, Wang Lin only used a few clues and he managed to deduce 70% to 80% of the truth. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he slowly asked, "Where is the cultivation union?" Sun Yunshan quickly answered, "The cultivation union is located between the border of the fire demon country and the gold demon country. That place is filled with miasma year-round, so it is well hidden." After he finished speaking, he hesitated and then asked, "Brother Wang, are you planning to?" Wang Lin smiled. "I don't have much confidence in breaking your restriction. However, I presume it shouldn't be hard for that ancestor." Sun Yunshan took a deep breath, took a few steps back, and gave Wang Lin a deep bow. He raised his head and his eyes were filled with excitement as he said, "Brother Wang, words can't thank you for what you have done for me. If I can one day return to planet Tianyun, I'll definitely repay the favor. Brother Sun, you don't have to be like this." Wang Lin shook his head and said, "In fact, even if you hadn't shown up, I would still have to take a trip this cultivation union. This ancestor has already provoked me twice, and if I don't do something about it, there will be a third and fourth time. It will never end. Brother Wang, no matter what, I'll remember this." Sun Yunshan's voice was filled with sincerity. Wang Lin smiled as he shook his head and put the broken jade inside his bag. He then waved his sleeves and disappeared from the tower with Sun Yunshan. When he was about to leave the soul refining tribe, Wang Lin casually waved his right hand. Those remaining cultivation union cultivators were caught by Wang Lin and disappeared. The war in the fire demon country continued. The constant slaughter caused a large amount of blood to flow on the ground, so the entire fire demon country was filled with the smell of blood. It was hard to avoid the attention of the other 7 countries when 2 countries went to war. Especially at this moment, when the fire demon country was filled with constant slaughter and the sky demon country had almost no soldiers left in its own country. For the remaining 7 countries, this was an opportunity that rarely comes in tens of thousands of years. At this moment, at the border of the Fire Demon Country and the Gold Demon Country, a meteor streaking across the sky could be seen 5,000 kilometers away from the miasma. The light surrounding the meteor disappeared, revealing Wang Lin when he arrived outside the miasma. He waved his sleeves and more than 10 cultivators appeared next to him. As for Sun Yunshan, he was standing next to Wang Lin. He was very uneasy and yet also very excited. These two complex emotions intertwined, making him a bit absent-minded. "Brother Sun, hold on to the jade I gave you. Although the restriction inside can't break the celestial seed inside you, in a moment of crisis, it can delay its effect." With that, Wang Lin stepped into the thick miasma. He had some speculations regarding the celestial seed. However, he will only be able to confirm them after he sees this so-called celestial realm ancestor. A short old man was sitting in the lotus position inside the tower deep within the miasma. 3 women were sitting opposite of this old man. All 3 of them were very beautiful, and one of them was Sun Yunshan's little sister, Sun Ruonan. Strands of pink gas came out from the mouths and noses of the 3 women. This pink gas formed wonderful fantasies that danced around the old man. These illusory figures dancing around the old man gradually turned solid. Then they suddenly turned into beautiful celestials wearing colorful clothes. The old man inhaled and directly swallowed them all. This short old man suddenly opened his eyes at the moment Wang Lin stepped into the miasma, and his eyes released a golden glow. At the moment his eyes opened, the illusory figures around him disappeared. The 3 women revealed very worn-out expressions and their faces even showed signs of aging. Wang Lin stepped into the miasma. This miasma was very thick, and as he moved within it, it surrounded him as if it were alive. As Wang Lin walked forward, more and more miasma surrounded him, and ghostly wails came at him from all directions. Wang Lin's expression was cold as he said, "To try to use soul spell before me, you really don't know your limit." As he spoke, his hand formed a seal and he shouted, "Soul vortex." His voice entered the seal his hand made and the surrounding miasma suddenly began to churn as if it was boiling. The miasma began to gather before Wang Lin at a very fast speed. This scene was as if there was a vortex before Wang Lin that was viciously sucking in all the miasma. In almost an instant, all of the miasma surrounding this area was sucked away. For the first time in countless years, this place was exposed to the sun. A fist-sized ball of miasma formed in Wang Lin's hand and released a large amount of silk-like strands. A white castle could be seen in the distance. There were almost 100 cultivators floating in the air outside the castle. All of them were in shock as they stared dumbfoundedly at the ball of miasma in Wang Lin's hand. Wang Lin's expression was cold as his gaze swept the crowd, and he immediately memorized all of their faces. Some of them were in the group that entered with Wang Lin, and some of them were unfamiliar. One of the people among the group made Wang Lin's eyes light up slightly. This person was a middle-aged man wearing blue. The moment the man in blue saw Wang Lin, he was startled. He subconsciously avoided Wang Lin's gaze and revealed a bitter expression. He was the Heavenly Fate sect's Blue Division disciple that came to the Demon Spirit Land with Wang Lin. "Make way." Wang Lin's voice was very calm. Just one phrase caused everyone to subconsciously scatter. None of their cultivation levels had reached the ascendant stage. The highest level cultivator here was only at the peak of the late stage of soul transformation. When facing an ascendant cultivator who could refine all the miasma here, they all wisely chose to retreat. However, there were still some unwise individuals who believed they had the backing of the self-proclaimed celestial realm ancestor. One of the young men wearing a daoist robe shouted, so bold, "Who are you? Say your name." "My cultivation union." This person hadn't even finished speaking when Wang Lin's cold gaze pierced into his eyes like a sharp sword. His words were forced back into his mouth by the blood that he coughed out. Wang Lin cultivated the celestial slaughter art and had a heart of slaughter, so this gaze was comparable to a real attack. The bystanders all sucked in breaths of cold air. Every one of them all scattered even more. Even those that didn't scatter the first time all quickly retreated even if it meant risking activating the restrictions inside their bodies. A straight and open path leading to the castle opened up. "Kill this person." A majestic voice came from within the castle. After the order came, All of the cultivators' faces became pale and they all hesitated. Luckily, just at this moment, a black figure suddenly came out from the castle and charged directly at Wang Lin. One of the surrounding cultivators suddenly exclaimed, "Celestial Guardian." No one knew if he had done it on purpose or if he was really that surprised. Wang Lin's expression was still calm and he didn't even look at the person who charged out from the castle. He took a step forward and began walking toward the castle. Although his speed wasn't fast, it caused everyone's eyes to narrow. At this moment, in these cultivators' eyes, looking at Wang Lin felt like they were looking at the elders of their own sects. That aura and sense of ease was not something an ordinary cultivator could have. Only those with a certain degree of self-confidence in their own cultivation could emit this kind of aura. The Blue Division disciple looked at Wang Lin and revealed a very complex expression. He had heard some news about Wang Lin and personally saw Wang Lin's battle against Chen Dao for the title of True Disciple. Back then, Wang Lin's performance caught a lot of people's attention. However, it was only their attention. After all, this Wang Lin's cultivation level wasn't high enough. However, at this moment, he didn't dare to underestimate Wang Lin anymore. Not only did Wang Lin manage to somehow reach the ascendant stage in such a short period of time, but more importantly, when he saw Wang Lin, he could vaguely feel the feeling he got when he looked at the All-Seer. Although this feeling wasn't strong, it did indeed exist. He was, after all, a disciple of the Heavenly Fate sect and the All-Seer, so his knowledge was good. He naturally knew that this was an expression of Tao. To give off this feeling meant that Wang Lin had his own Tao. In the cultivation world, those who have their own Tao store it in their heart, gain enlightenment, and are also be able to fuse with it. Those people have the qualifications to build a foundation in this world. In truth, all cultivators have their own Tao, but to condense it into a corporeal form is extremely difficult. He actually reached this level already. The man in blue felt very melancholy. At this moment, he forgot about the seed in his body. All his mind could think of was the difference between the Wang Lin who was a savage from a half-wasted cultivation planet like Susaka that was mocked by everyone, and now, where he was someone who had his own Tao and could be considered a grandmaster of his generation. As Wang Lin continued to walk forward, the shadow quickly closed in, and when it was within 100 feet of Wang Lin, it used various spells. This person's spells were related to beasts. These spells turned into various vicious beasts that opened their jaws to devour Wang Lin. Without the domain of an ascendant cultivator, even if they have the power of an ascendant cultivator, they are but an empty shell. Just one blow. Wang Lin pointed with this finger and softly said, "We'll break it." A flash of black light came out of his fingertip, turned into a strand of black gas, and flew out. After Wang Lin reached the ascendant stage, his origin soul and domain had fused, so now he had origin energy. With a raise of his hand, his attack would be a fusion of his domain and celestial spiritual energy. He also had his own Tao, so all of his spells contained a trace of his Tao. The finger of death closed in, carrying Wang Lin's Tao with it. It pierced through the various illusionary beasts and directly pierced through the chest of the man in black. The vicious beasts shattered, and the man in black died. It wasn't that he didn't want to dodge, but he was someone who had forcibly reached the ascendant stage. He didn't have the qualifications to dodge the spell of someone who had truly reached the ascendant stage. "Who are you?" A very dignified voice came from within the castle. Even until now, Wang Lin hadn't stopped at all as he walked toward the White Castle. This video will end here.